Is there? Hey, how's it going? I'm trying to figure out because it's been a long time since I've been on live, and there's like half the screen is black, and it says waiting for guest, but I'm not really trying to have a guest on right now, so I'm trying to figure out how to turn that off, but I don't think I don't think you can. But yeah, I decided to hop on live for a little bit. If you guys have any questions, I miss it. If you're seeing any white here, I have some sunscreen that has the white tint. So good, thanks, and you, love from Ireland. Thank you, I appreciate it. Sending love back. I'm doing great. I actually wanted to do a YouTube video on. Is it my first live? No, no. I've done a lot like last year, but I really like slowed down with them. But I unboxed this fragrance. It's called Abyss by Nomi. And I'm gonna post my video on it. Hi, how are you, Abby? How you doing? I'll post my short that I did later on today. I wanted to do a full video, but I did that and Shameless Seducer. No, this isn't Shameless Seducer. I actually have to do a first impression on this. You are such a wonderful vibe. Thank you, Mina. That's all you. That's all you. This is the one. And I will say, just straight up, this smells like my aunt. So I really appreciate your views. Thank you so much. It's going to be 103 here in Cali this week. I think you live in Cali too. What's your cool down frag as of lately? Man, I've only been using one fragrance this whole entire week. Well, two that I've been layering. It's called Aqua Oud and it's a banger. Hey, just bought Badi Al Oud by Latafa. I've been loving it. What are your thoughts on the brand? I really need to try that actually. I gotta try that. Um, love all your reviews. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know 103 is crazy. I swear Avatar, but they discontinued it. My summer scent, y'all. If you're newer to my channel, then I say this in a lot of my videos, but I'll say it again. I am a creature of habit. So whenever I like a fragrance, that just becomes like my straight up go-to. So the one I've been wearing all week has been Aqua Oud, but it's not released yet or anything. And I feel like I have to disclose this. I'm not being promoted to talk about those fragrances. I did receive them early, but this isn't the first time that that's happened. Because I know that there were some people that were like, "Oh, you're getting paid to say this," but I'm not getting paid to talk about those fragrances. They actually sent a few over before, and then I made a video saying that I actually didn't like any of them, and then none of those comments were there. So it's very interesting that whenever it's a positive video of like fragrances that I like, it's always met with, "Oh, you're obviously being paid out." But when I'm actually real and I'm like, I don't like it, then everyone's quiet. So it's just like, y'all want me to hate everything for it to not come across as like marketing, you know what I mean? But I like it, and that's what matters. Can light blue 0 handle the heat? Yes, definitely. It can definitely do that. Um, it is my favorite summertime designer scent, like standard designer scent. Okay. Afternoon swim, still the best out. I haven't been using afternoon swim. It's taken a back seat, but it's still a good fragrance. Hey, how you doing, Dahlia? Which blue agave do you like more, the new one or the old one? I've been rocking the old one this week. Wore it twice. That is a banger. The old one's great. I do prefer the newer one just because it lasts longer, and also because I had my cousin's boyfriend bought my original bottle of blue agave off of me. So that's like his signature scent. So I don't want to be really wearing the same type of fragrance as somebody that I know, right? So I've been using the newer one just to kind of layer a bit, but I haven't worn it by itself. But overall, fantastic signature scent, especially like a summer banger. So good. And I wish the comments would just stay up. They keep like fading. Body chemistry is also a major factor. I hope to find a signature scent, but too many options and they're also good. Yeah, no, I totally get that. And like the thing is, for me, I have tried like thousands of fragrances at this point, maybe hundreds. I don't want to say thousands in case, but like hundreds of fragrances at this point, right? And the thing is, it's not that hard for me to pick what I like and what I don't like because for the most part, a lot of them fall in that mid tier category where they smell good, but I wouldn't care to wear them or care to rock them as much, right? So I've just been like, for me, when I like something, I'm just zoned into it. And that's a big question that like I'll always get where people are like, I've seen your collection. How do you choose? Like, it must be so hard every day. And it's not because I have literally four, no, three. I have three fragrances that are in my rotation. So if it's going to be nighttime, I already know which one I'm going to pull for. If I'm going for an all day sexy banger, I know which one I want to wear. So very easy. Um, Hey, how's you doing, Zane? How you doing? Does side effect still turn heads? I don't wear side effect, but my cousin smelled it in my collection and then bought it because he was like, not off my collection, but he bought it online because he's like, this is so good. And he's been loving it. So honestly, side effect is the one fragrance in my collection that I know is really good, but I just don't like to wear because it's a bit too intense for me. Maybe that and Rasala actually. Could you do a live oh, no, could you do a ranking of all the ouds you have? Number 1 spot right now is Aqua Oud. Number 2 spot is Oud Wood. The other ones I really don't care for as much because I don't like when it's a very obnoxious or polarizing oud, I've just never gelled with those type of scents before, so it's nice and awesome. Turning in from West Coast Nova Scotia. Oh, hey, how's it going? Is Amris Om EDT not long lasting or am I going nose blind to it? You're probably going a bit nose blind to it, and that's just a common thing overall with fragrances in general. So I would just say, like, I mean, also it depends on where you're applying it, right? A lot of people go nose blind, but when I ask them where they spray, they're like hitting their like the front of their neck. And that's like the first, like the fastest way to go nose blind to a scent because it's just right there. It's right underneath your nose, you know? So that's why I do my spraying technique. Big thank you for Intense Cafe. Women just go crazy for this thing. Should I get Instant Crush next for men? Um, First of all, I'm glad you're loving your fragrance. I don't think there's an instant crush for men. It's just instant crush and anybody could use it. But yeah, if you're getting good reactions, I will say like those unisex fragrances, killer. I've made videos about this so much before on my channel that I was like, you know what, I just gotta stop because people aren't getting it. But the people that get it, you know, because unisex fragrances, they could literally be the most masculine or feminine things, but because they say unisex, it makes people not afraid to try it. And then when they try it, they're like, oh my God, this is so good. But if it was labeled anything else, they wouldn't even touch it, you know? So go for it and let me know what you think. I have not tried that house yet. Those are my next two. I intended to only get oud wood. Oh, you know what is a good oud fragrance is carved oud by Thameen. I really liked that scent. It's kind of like oud wood on steroids. So if you really like oud wood, they might be actually priced about the same, or Thameen's might be cheaper. Now that I think of it, and the longevity is definitely there in comparison to oud wood. So you might want to look into that. What's a good lotion layering for Nisio addictive vibrations? I don't do the lotion layering. Like after I shower, I make sure I'm moisturized, of course, but I use scentless lotion. I'm not like doubling up with the fragrance lotion as well. But if you want to do that for extra power, then go for it. What occasion is for rehab by Nisio? I can see rehab being worn in the springtime, you can wear it in the winter if you want. Not spring, sorry, fall. Fall was the first one, but you can wear it in spring as well. Okay. I hear people say fragrances have chemicals that on the long term might be a health issue. What are your thoughts on this? You know what? People have approached me with that before. And to be honest, I can't really speak on it because I haven't done my research on that. You know, so I can't really give any commentary. You know, if you do more research and you find that okay, this is a bit hazardous or you're already feeling symptoms or whatever, then of course you could pull back from it. But yeah, I haven't been really feeling any issues with it. And yes, I have tried Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé, or was it just? I don't think it was the Privé. I think it was just the Reserve. I didn't really care for it, and the thing is, I was excited to try that because I heard great things about that fragrance. I tried that the same day that I tried Jet Black Reserve and Jet Black Intense. Citizen, no, I've tried Citizen Absolute before, but with like it was that day that I went to just like a nice little cute perfume shop, and it was not really, especially in comparison to Jet Black Reserve, it it didn't hit. And the thing is, I used to love Jet Black Reserve, and I still do, but Dior almost definitely dethroned it in terms of like my nighttime sexy fragrance. Dior Homme 2020 is such a good scent. Like I wore that when I went to a rooftop bar recently and I was getting compliments on that fragrance. So it's so good. And it was something that the first time I wore it, I liked it, but the dry down of it, there was like the patchouli was a lot more noticeable. And I wasn't really feeling it. I was like, dang, I don't like how I kind of wish the patchouli kind of took a backseat. But the more I've been wearing the fragrance, the more enjoyable it's become. And either the patchouli has slowed down or I've grown to love it. And it's just such a good scent. What's the genesis of your passion for fragrance? You're so good at this. Thanks, Jasmine. You're very sweet. Honestly, it started back in 2021, January 20th, 2021. That's when I made my very first TikTok video. But before that, I started kind of getting into it around November, December 2020. And it just kind of it stemmed from me just wanting to have the reputation of being the best smelling person out of everybody that I knew. I was like, I want to have that reputation. I want to smell great. And whenever I would try to find videos and reviews of fragrances, it was very segregated, right? There's always videos of like for men, for women. And I found myself wanting to wear the more masculine fragrances. But then I would see things like, oh, like if you're like a sexy man with a hairy chest, this is your friend. I was like, oh, man, I don't like hearing those type of descriptions, you know? So I'm like, let me make a channel. Maybe there's going to be people like me that might be in the queer community that, want to kind of hear more of like a queer perspective of it. Right. And it kind of just like took off on TikTok. And then I was talking to my sister. She's like, oh, you got to move over to YouTube also. I'm like, do I have to move to YouTube though? Because TikTok was just killing it for me. And she talked some sense into me. And I was like, all right, you know what? Let's move into YouTube. And it's been a lot of fun. And I love the differences, right? Because on TikTok, that's where like I built like my queer community and I love it. But then on YouTube, I was getting a lot of like men, and I'm like, but they're not gay men or anything like that, but it's also because, they enjoy masculine fragrances like myself, and they are wanting to get reactions from women like myself as well. So I was like, you know what? It's totally fine. And they've been really respectful and cool. So it's just really interesting having two different audiences like that. And then I do have Instagram, but that's mainly for like business purposes and just letting people know that like they have a platform to DM me on, you know what I mean? Okay. How is Tom Ford Oud Wood? It's my favorite Tom Ford fragrance. And people will hate on it because I don't know, some people think it's overrated, some people think it's not long lasting. And I can maybe agree more on the long lasting side. It's definitely not a beast mode fragrance by any means, but for me, I don't think that fragrance is overrated. I think that there are definitely people that are chronically online that if you're in, I don't know, Facebook groups, or if you're just watching videos of people in the fragrance community, then yes, any designer fragrance can come across as overrated or basic because they're just trying to talk about niche scents, right? And really, you're getting into the nitty gritty of the community. But when you actually step out and you're actually interacting with people, you're not smelling every person passing you wearing oud wood, or 9 out of 10 people, or even 1 out of 10 people wearing the fragrance. So to me, it's not basic. And that's why, I mean, I still stand by it if you want to wear the standard designer scents, because I love standard designer fragrances. Those are my go to recommendations. for people that know me in real life when they're trying to get into the fragrance game. I never recommend niche right off the bat unless they're really like, no, I want to smell different. You smell so good. And then they go cop something like salt and pepper, right? But overall, like, I think there's a big miss, like a disconnect with people that are just watching videos online and thinking, oh, can't wear it. It's basic. But people aren't really wearing fragrances to begin with. You know what I mean? As much. Best of both worlds. Yeah, it is. Hi, watching from the Philippines. Hi, how are you? Joso. Hey, Melissa, I know you love Louis Vuitton fragrances. Have you ever tried Etole Filante? I have not. I have not. Perfumes are such a source of happiness for me, and when I see you talking about them passionately, I feel as if I could smell the scent of that perfume in my nose. Thanks, Sarah. You know that's really sweet, and that is something that also I took into account, especially in my early days with my platforms, is not really being so driven by notes and about like, oh, like this is the base. No, like these are the top notes of the fragrance and having all of that sort of stuff, but just kind of going off of like the kind of what I visualize in my head when I smell a scent, right? So if I smell something like this one, Armani Code Sport, I'm not like, oh yes, this is like a minty, like orangey fragrance. I'm like, no, this kind of smells like a gym rat. You know what I mean? Like this smells like somebody that likes to work out. This smells like somebody that wants like, that fresh and clean vibe. They take care of themselves physically. So that was kind of more of my direction. And then I would say what notes I did pick up, but I wouldn't like break it down like crazy. And I went on live recently on TikTok and they were like, do you take into account the presentation, the bottle, the box when you do your reviews? And I mean, y'all have seen my reviews, not really. Like if I see a cool bottle, like if the bottle looks like this and I open it up and I'm like, holy, like damn, like I didn't expect this going on here. I would take a second to be like, that's cool. But what really matters is the juice. You know what I mean? You're not walking around with your fragrance on and with the bottle where people will comment on the presentation. They only really care about the smell. So that's why that's all I really focus on. The Roly Portofino's okay. Not really, eh, not really the biggest fan of that scent. I've smelled it before. I haven't really tested it on skin though, so maybe that's a difference. But neroli is also a pretty polarizing note. Can you link your fragrance closet? Ooh, what's that? Like, is that where I could just put all of my favorite fragrances and like link that for you guys? That'd be cool. Um, Solid silent viewers here. Hi, hi. Hello, I'm new to your channel, so I apologize if you've mentioned this already, but what are your favorite scent notes? I really don't look into notes. I am not somebody that's like, oh, it has this in it. I'm gonna love it. The fragrances that my top three scents that I use right now, which are Aqua Oud, Dior Homme, and Elysium, all are pretty different from one another. So I prefer fresh and cleans just because of the weather, but I'm not like, oh, this has mandarin, I'm gonna love it. Because whenever I say that, I get disappointed when I smell something with mandarin that isn't fire. So I don't go off of notes. Hey, Melissa, you know that people are, you know that you definitely have a lot of people foaming at the mouth waiting for that aquawood and that new agave. Have you considered a date or a month? I have no idea. I have no idea about when those fragrances are going to drop, but I think the smart thing to do would be to definitely drop them in the summertime because these are summer fragrances. So I'd be shocked if they were not. I'd be shocked if they were not dropped. So like those fantastic. I will say on the other hand, the two that I couldn't really get with, and if you didn't watch my video, you guys can go check it out. I showed my honest opinion on all those new fragrances. Sangria Oak was probably my least favorite just because it reminded me of when you just when you open like the Welch's fruit gummies, the fruit snacks, and it just kind of smells like artificial a little bit, you know what I mean? But like the artificial fruit snacks. Um, but it's one of those things that I know the niche connoisseurs would love. But for me, I'm like, nah, this is the pass. And same for Juniper Oud. I like it better than Sangria Oak, but Aqua Oud totally dominates between those two. So for me, love those. Love those. Um, what are your favorite fragrances when you're having a hard day or feeling sad? The 3 that I already mentioned, y'all. Like I just use those in rotation, whether it's a good day or a bad day. Like I my what I'm wearing scent wise doesn't really change. Also, thanks for your review on Alexandra 2 was absolutely fire. You're welcome. I will say I made a couple reviews of that. The first one was me like, "Oh man, this is a good fragrance." And the next one was me, I think maybe a couple weeks later, or I don't know when it was, but I was like, "Yo, there's something like it just switched." I used to like it, then I was like, I don't enjoy this anymore. It was just not the move. Okay, let me scroll up to see your guys' stuff. Yo, what's going on, G? Your closet behind you where you store your fragrances. Can I but you said to link it? Yeah, like this is it's oh, it was on Facebook Marketplace. So it wasn't really something I got from IKEA. What are your thoughts on Dior Addict? I don't care for Dior Addict. I really like that when you first of all, hi Jasmine. I really like that when you talk about a fragrance, you sometimes pair it with a place, experience, or memory. Yeah, I think that that is important. And I actually got a question recently where they're like, "Do you let that kind of skew your review and your bias?" But honestly, I mean, I share my experience and my memories with y'all, but I also tell you, like, if this sounds like something you would like note wise, then go try it, So, like, if I smelled something that reminded me of like a douchebag, right? I would say I'm no a douchebag that smells like this. But if you want a blue fragrance, wear it. You know what I mean? So I think I do pretty good at still not like, letting you guys know like the separation there. My daughter wears the Lena. Oh, such a good fragrance. And it reminds me of holiday Barbie box growing up. Oh my gosh, we got to go watch that Barbie movie. You mustn't have seen the second read. Hey, you know what? If you like Alexandria too, wear it. All right. And you know what's awesome about like this platform and y'all is that not everyone subscribed to me enjoys the same fragrances that I like or is here for fragrance recommendations. I actually have people that have DM'd me and they're like, I love the way you talk about fragrances, and I look forward to the videos where you talk about the stuff you don't like because I know that's the stuff I'm gonna like. So it's funny because whenever I like something, that person or those people are like, okay, that's not for me. But when I show my distaste for something, they're like, oh, that's the one. So I just like that. You know what I mean? That's what this community is about is understanding that scent is something subjective. There's no one right answer that's going to apply to everybody and you just have to find what you enjoy and just like make the most of it. It's fun. I think that people have take I do get serious comments, where people are just like, "Oh no, you're so wrong about this," and they get really passionate. And passion is always like a good thing, but I think it's important to also like touch grass, step outside, get away from the phone, and realize it's not that big of a deal. It's perfume, it's all good, just chill. Um, are the rumors about Spice Bomb Extreme having gotten reformulated really true? No idea. To be honest, I hear about reformulations from y'all. I have not really ever been the one to tell you guys this has been reformulated. So I can't speak on that. But I'm very happy that I have my bottle of Spice Mom Extreme. Okay. You're killing it. So glad I found the channel. Def a fan now. Oh, thanks, Jasmine. I really appreciate the love. Seriously. I do. I do. Does anybody know the other oud wood fragrance besides the Tom Ford that she mentioned? It's from Thameen. Thameen. Carved oud. That's what it's called. It's good being distinguishable. Yeah. Oh, of course. It's very good. Like, and that's for me, that's my sweet spot with fragrances, right? And that's why, like, when you guys see me get really excited or when I talk about the same fragrance over and over again, it's because like it has me in a chokehold. So for me, I think I still have like my nose has matured, but it hasn't matured to a point where it's out of touch with the real world and the reactions that you're going to get when you wear it in public, right? So for me, I love wearing a scent that nobody else around me is wearing that has that uniqueness, But I know when people in the real world smell it, they're gonna go nuts over it, right? So it's and like that to me is a distinguishable type of fragrance because I'll wear it out to a party. And then when I'm like hugging people, they're like, oh my God, that smells so good. Like, what is that? And when I mention the name of the fragrance, and they're kind of scratching their head, they're like, is that at Sephora? Like, they don't know where to get it. They've never heard of the brand before. And you don't have to gatekeep. You don't have to gatekeep what fragrance you're wearing because most people, when you mention a niche fragrance, they're not going to go out of their way to buy it online because they're also not going to trust that they don't have their go-to like online stores or like even buying from the brand online, you know? So for me, like that's what I like. A lot of the fragrances like that are in my top, like the top three that I've been mentioning, all have that, like, where it's just, like, people go nuts. The most common one would probably be Dior Homme out of the 3 in my rotation, but still, Dior Homme is not as used in comparison to, like, the other fragrances I smell on anybody else wearing a perfume. Um, how can I add CC to YouTube Live? What's that? Does hair smell like Spice on Stream? No, it does not. Okay. Thoughts on Black Phantom for a guy? Wear it. Wear it. Black Phantom, all like to me, Black Phantom is a very unisex fragrance. I see it as a femme fatale scent where if a woman were to wear it and she's in like a black dress and she's got the red lip on and she's getting the head turning reactions, and it's like a dangerous, sexy fragrance. And I could say like the same thing for a guy wearing it, right? If he's like wearing all black, it's like nighttime and he's got like a couple, like a few buttons undone, like it just gives off it's not so much about the gender of it, but it's like your aura, right? So if you exude mysterious like sexiness, then hell yeah, go for Black Phantom. But, you know, if you're somebody that is like closed off and you don't like making eye contact with people and you're wearing a fragrance like that, it might confuse the people around me. I mean, around you, you know? And I actually saw a very funny tweet that my sister sent me that was like, please have your fragrance match your face because I'm tired of turning around and feeling like a fool. So I get that. I'm never going to tell people like, oh, like your face doesn't match that, but at least go for situation, right? So if you're going to the beach, just don't wear your leather fragrance. Wear your fresh and clean scent. When you're going to the office, don't wear your sex fragrance. Wear your professional one. You know what I mean? Just go based off situation. Okay. Oh, closed caption. I don't know how to turn that on. Dang. Hey, you're amazing. Can you talk about Chanel? Sure. Chanel is not my cup of tea. I haven't really there's only one fragrance from Chanel that I have truly enjoyed, and it's Chanel Allure Edition Blanche. That one to me beats out Bleu de Chanel, especially the Chanel fragrances on the feminine side are just so like they're a bit too mature for my liking. I feel like YSL has a lot more to offer, especially maybe for the younger demographic. Like if you're 40 and up, then I think Chanel would be something you'd enjoy. And also women and even guys that are buying from Chanel in that age range, it's also just like a status thing. In the same way Creed is a status sort of brand now, is people aren't caring so much for the actual fragrance, but it's just to say, oh, I own a Creed or I own a Chanel, you know, just to kind of give them make them feel good about themselves. Is Lazy Sunday Morning a female fragrance or can I wear it as a guy? It actually says on the bottle right there, like male and female fragrance. It's anybody can wear it. And you gotta remember like a fragrance, y'all. It's just like smelly juice. You know, don't let anything that says for women or for men stop you. Just if you want to try it, try it. What do you think about Clive Christian? I've only tried one. Didn't like it for me. All right. It reminded me of old Hollywood. Think about like the transatlantic accent in like the black and white movies with like, oh, you don't say it. And they talk like that. It reminded me of like an old Hollywood actress on a red carpet event. So just not really something I'd wear. I wore Dior Sauvage once and wasn't thrilled about it, but made some women smile. Yeah. I mean, where, and it's always so funny because whenever we get into the topic of compliments, and like reactions from other people wearing like when we wear our fragrances, right? you're always gonna get people that are like, you need to wear fragrances for yourself because you like it, not because of compliments. And it's like, well, no shit. Like we're already on like step 3 and you're still on step 1 of like, no duh, you're not gonna wear something that you actually don't enjoy a little bit. You know what I mean? Like if I wouldn't wear a fragrance I hate just to get a reaction from somebody else. Like that is like bare minimum, like no shit. You know what I'm saying? So like if people receive compliments, don't assume that they're only wearing it for compliments. But I'm glad you got them with your Sauvage. And if it's just not your cup of tea, totally cool. There's thousands of other fragrances that you can pick. Is the mean oud wood good during high heat as Tom Ford's? I haven't worn it in the high heat. I wore that in New York wintertime, so I can't say. Imagine all the fragrance YouTubers replacing fragrance with smelly juice in their name. We could. Yes, I have tried Nishane. I'm 18 and I own Chanel number 5. It's an all preference. I like to wear it because it brings me back to the 20s. Such a classic. Go for it. Absolutely go for it. Yeah. Do you like hard candy scent? I don't think I've tried that. I have not tried that. Black Phantom smells like peanut butter to me, just my opinion. That's interesting. I have never gotten peanut butter. I have never gotten peanut butter with Black Phantom at all, but to each their own. Okay. I have not tried Creed Princess Oud. You bought Fluidity Silver when you called it the Las Vegas. Yeah, because it caught my amazing fragrance. Well, I'm glad you like it. And honestly, Gentle Fluidity Silver, it's probably going to be a top 10 fragrance in terms of scents that I don't wear, but when I recommend it, it always knocks it out of the park. Like whenever I talk to somebody and I'm like, you know what? And they're like, you know what? I want a versatile, unique scent, but something I can still wear to the office. And I say, why don't you try Gentle Fluidity Silver? It's never been a miss. Everybody loves it. So I am very happy about the positive reactions. Hi, Melissa. Happy to see and listen to you on air. How? Thank you so much. Your style of personality is classy, so much to my taste. I love that. And you know what? It always does warm my heart when I see comments and people say, like, oh my God, we have the same taste. Like, your top 3 are like my top 3 as well. It's just so interesting, you know? So, what what's your go-to fragrance for fall 23 to be very noticeable in college? Well, I'm gonna try to put this for you because for me, I already know what mine would be. Um, I'm not in college, but it's gonna be one of the 3 that I've been talking about nonstop in this whole entire video. Okay. Which niche houses never miss or misses the least in your opinion? Ooh, I talked about this yesterday on my TikTok. I would say Parfums de Marly and Precious Liquid. Those are the 2 niche houses that it's not just like a 1-star type of deal for me, right? Like with Raja Parfums, this is always interesting because when like Raja Parfums has sent me a lot of their fragrances, right? And whenever I would talk about Elysium, especially in like the earlier times, like people are like, you're like marketing for them, you're getting paid for this, blah, blah, blah. Like keep it real with us. But like those people are nowhere to be found like 2 years later because I'm still talking about that fragrance. And they're like, oh wow. Like they're like, you actually liked that to begin with? And I'm like, yeah, I do, right? But Raja Parfums doesn't like the other fragrances they have, I don't really rock with. And then I'll get a lot of comments from people saying like, "Oh, that's the last time they'll send you anything. They're never going to send you anything again with the way you're ripping this up." And they've been sending me stuff for ever like they've sent me probably over like 10 fragrances. You know what I mean? So I always appreciate working with brands and like giving reviews of fragrances from brands that appreciate an honest opinion, right? I am not going to review a fragrance with a brand that gives me something and they're like, we want you to only talk good about this. We don't want you to steer them the wrong way. It's like, I'm not steering, I'm being honest with my opinion. Like, if I don't like it, I'm not going to tell my audience that, oh, this is wonderful. Like, that would be bullshit and that'd be misleading, you know? So, all the day ones that have been with me with, you know, the first time that I started this channel, like, y'all know when I really like something versus when I don't like something, you know? So, Raja, Sershoff, even Creed. Creed has, like, good fragrances, but they're not, like, for me, something, like, I wanna continuously wear. You know what I mean? Again, it's more of, like, a status name brand, but with Parfums de Marly, like, at least half their scents I enjoy, and it's the same thing for Precious Liquid. Now, with both of these, there are fragrances that these brands offer that I don't rock with at all, but I am just shocked at the fact that, okay, I like more than 4 scents from this brand, and that's unique coming from a niche house. So does Maison Margiela miss? I mean, I think every brand definitely misses for me. There's not been a single brand where I'm like, everything here is amazing. Every brand has a miss. Let's see. I think I've tried one Byredo scent. I can't remember it though. Melissa, have you thought about making your own fragrance line? I would love to. I think that'd be really cool. I'd be down, yes. Have you tried anything else from Eccentric Molecule? Only Molecule 01 and 02. I haven't tried anything else. Killian Love is not my fave, although it's nice I get most compliments when I wear it. Clean scents are my fave too. Killian Love Don't Be Shy is so good. Like it really is an Aphrodite-esque type of fragrance. And I recommend that one a lot, or I used to on my TikTok. It's a unisex fragrance, but more women gravitate to it because of that sweet cotton candy-ish vibe. But I feel like no matter who wears it, like it will smell good. Like it's just a very addicting, sweet scent. Let's see. Precious Liquid hasn't released the newest scent that you reviewed, have they? No, no. It's the same situation that it was that first time around, where they sent me like what is it called, ice juniper and like Uzu vetiver, and I was like, I don't like these. So and like they weren't released yet. So yeah, I'm getting a little bit ahead of the curve with that and just being honest with my opinion on those. But when they do release, I will make a video on it. Have I tried Suspiro? No, I have not. Not tried that. Huge compliment getter. Oh, nice, nice. Amber Oud by Rajan. No, I haven't. Um, I've been kind of skeptical with Raja fragrances. This last one was kind of like a bit of a dagger with Elysium. Oh, intense, y'all. Let me tell you, I was like, this is gonna be it because I wasn't with Apex. I didn't like Creation E. Like, there was just so many misses, right? So when they said, "Oh, we got Elysium Intense, we're gonna send you Elysium Intense," I said, "Say less." I cannot wait because I need to restock my bottle of Elysium because it's almost out of juice. But just wasn't meant to be, y'all. It's not the fragrance for me, unfortunately. I miss the old Killian Love. Had better performance. The new one is lighter. Ooh, haven't tried that. Hey, I like floral smells, but I don't want to smell like old people. Can you recommend some? You can go Springtime in a Park by Maison Margiela. My favorite Mancera till this day is still Cedrat Rosé. But I say that with caution just because Mancera is um they've reformulated Cedrat Rosé, and I have yet to try the reformulated version. And I've heard so many things about it. I've heard the dislike for it where people are saying it has no longevity, no performance. And then I've heard other people say, what are these people talking about? It performs perfectly fine. So I don't know. What's the oldest release frag you enjoy? Y'all, to be honest with you, I don't really know much about release dates with stuff. I mean, I love Silver Mountain Water, but the one I have isn't the OG Silver Mountain Water. I would say the oldest fragrance in my collection is La Nuit de l'Homme, and I still love it. I'm so happy that when I started this fragrance journey, I kicked it off with a good scent, like a really sexy fragrance. Because, well, actually, the first one was Versace Eros, and good, really good fragrance, but I was like, it just didn't fit my vibe. And then when I wore La Nuit de l'Homme, I was like, oh, this is it. And then I just fell in love with fragrance after that. Is Fragrantica reliable in your opinion, like using it as a reference for blind buys? Or am I just tripping? For me, I actually made a video about that. I have found that whenever Fragrantica is ripping a fragrance, especially when it's more of a designer scent, I tend to enjoy that fragrance. So it's kind of interesting because like it'll be a flip. And with niche fragrances, when they're like, "Oh, this is a beautiful, complex fragrance. I love it so much," it ends up being something I don't like. And when I did my first unboxing of Sexy Eyes by Blackcliff. I didn't look at any of the notes, didn't go on Fragrantica, didn't like it. Right. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just see what Fragrantica has to say about this because I'm sure that it's going to be the opposite of what I'm thinking. And sure enough, when I looked at Fragrantica, people were like, oh, this is so beautiful. The complexity, amazing fragrance. This is a must have. And I was like, yeah, that definitely checks out. Like I said, I think nose wise, I still have the nose of like it's matured. I could see what fragrance people like. It doesn't put me off as much, but I can very much relate to what the general public likes. And that is definitely not a scent that people would like. But for fragrance lovers that already have an established collection, oh that's they would love it. They would love it. All right. I've tried Kirke by Tiziana Terenzi, didn't really like it. And that might be a shock to people. But on the other hand, I still wasn't even a fan of Herba Pura, and that's just because it was super strong and too intense for me. So take that as you will. It's your opinion on oud as a note. How about rose? Rose, both oud and rose, I'm very iffy about because rose can either be beautifully blended or it can come across pretty synthetic or very mature and be reminiscent of fragrances that older women like grandmas would wear, right? So it's very tricky with rose, but the rose fragrance that I really mess with is called Rose Blanche, but that one's from Precious Liquid. They released it like a while ago, but a nice fresh rose scent. Now with oud, my bar, my standard or my expectation is always that I'm not gonna like it. I always have that expectation with oud because it's let me down so much before, right? But when I tried like aqua oud, I was like, oh shit! I didn't expect it to be a summertime fragrance because I'm like it says aqua, but it says oud, so it's probably gonna be like a oud dominated fragrance with maybe a spritz of freshness. But it ended up being the other way around, and I would much rather have it that way. So for me, I do not go seeking oud fragrances at all. You know, um, have all these niche and the one drag that pulls me the most compliments is Dylan Blue. Yeah. How no, you said have all these niche and the one that pulls the most compliments is Dylan Blue. Yo, that's what I stay saying. So when I was actually with my cousin, he's like, I want to buy a fragrance. And the first one I showed him was Versace Dylan Blue. He ended up getting it. Smells fantastic. All right. You have to like please, please. The internet is so different and from real life. And I try my best on my channel to really like really let y'all know that. You know what I'm saying? Because like there's a miss, especially like with even on YouTube, but with TikTok and YouTube, people think like, okay, if it's a niche, people are gonna love it, it's gonna be different. But that's not usually the case. Typically people don't like niche fragrances, right? It does not matter. Like designer does a lot better when it comes to mass appeal. That's why what I said earlier in this live is the fragrances that you see me wearing are the ones, well, maybe you don't see me wearing because I don't want to keep running them into the ground, but the ones that I wear are niche fragrances that I know do well with the general public. So it gives me that uniqueness. And on top of that, it's just pulling compliments like crazy. But just for all the people that are going to say, well, you should wear it for yourself, again, no shit. I wear it because I like it. And just the compliments are the cherry on top. Hello from Croatia. Oh, hey. Rose Prick from Tom Ford is great, and Oud Satin Mood Extra is god tier. I don't like Oud Satin Mood. Strong fragrance, just not my cup of tea. 1 million lucky, good fragrance. Good fragrance. Silver Mountain Water or Gentle Fluidity Silver. Right now, I would say Silver Mountain Water because it's too hot to wear Fluidity Silver. So a dark rose like Noir de Noir is a great rose. Yeah, that I agree. I completely agree with that one. But to me, it does. I feel like the rose isn't the driving force in that fragrance, but that's what I like. I like when the rose, you know what, that's not true actually. I don't mind if the rose is forefront, but I just don't like when it's jammy. Like I don't like Toy Boy. I didn't like that's what's that scent from Bond number 5? Had like a jammy rose scent. I don't like that sort of stuff. Rose's vanilla is good. Rose's vanilla is good. It smells literally like intense cafe without the coffee. So, opinion on BDK parfums. I love Possessoir. Very sexy fragrance. Yeah, that's a good one. That's definitely a good one. Thoughts on Ombre Nomad? I wish I tried that scent, but I haven't yet. I haven't yet, and I really, really want to. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, you know what? If you're looking forward to it, then then try it. Appreciate your honesty. A lot of shills on YouTube at the moment. Y'all, I feel like I don't watch other fragrance reviewers, but I will tell you this from a creator perspective. At least for me, I'm only speaking for myself. And this is what I've noticed is that before, when I had a much smaller following, whenever I would talk about fragrances that I loved, people are more likely to, they don't really question off the bat of like, do you really feel that way? Or are you getting, are you, they kind of, they don't question that sort of stuff, right? But the more your following grows, then the doubt sort of comes in, right? Where it's like, oh, so you're saying you like this, you must be promoting it, you must be paid to do it, huh? And I could see why people would think that, and I'm not gonna just like go after every comment and try to defend myself all the time, but I know that if you're somebody that has watched my videos from the beginning, then you know the way that I've been talking about fragrances and what I like has not changed, regardless of how big my following has grown. I swear to you right now, there has not been a fragrance that y'all have heard me talk about and gush about that I did not enjoy. And I think that the juice in the bottle says it for itself. Like I have almost ran through Elysium completely. Salt and pepper is halfway done. Dior Homme, you're not going to be able to tell the difference with the sprays yet. Aqua Oud, I know I'm going to use the hell out of. So I understand people's like hesitancy with it, but like if you want the evidence, it's already there, And again, it's also illegal for me to not disclose if something is sponsored, or if there's like an affiliate link or something. And I have that in every single video in the description box. Um, but that's also not me forcing anything on y'all. Like at the end of the day, you have the decision. Your fingers do the clicking of what you want to purchase. I'm not, holding you at gunpoint saying, buy from my link, use my code. You know what I mean? So everyone has their own, like you have control of your own mind and body. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to give you my opinion on things. So Green Witch, I don't think it was that one. I haven't heard of no, I think I have. Literally have watched for 3 days and can tell you keep it real, super sincere. Thanks, Jasmine. No, I really do appreciate that because sometimes, like, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it does bother me when I would like. That's why I don't respond to or look at my comments and reply to them as much as I did before, because like you can only take so much negativity and being like, y'all, this isn't true, like. And I feel like anybody that, especially when you're just starting, when you're seeing people just basically make stuff up about you and what you're doing, and people are just like, oh yeah, she's totally doing that, and it's not true. It does kind of piss you off a little bit, right? But for me, like I have to learn to take that step back and be like, at the end of the day, as this channel grows, there are going to be people that, even me, like if you put a lie detector on me, they're gonna go, that's fake. You know what I mean? So I'm not here on my channel to try to convince the naysayers. I'm here to just be honest with my opinion. If you like the fragrance, like, and at the end of the day, it's up to you to try it. I understand the idea of, oh, like, she's trying to market this like heavy, blah, blah, like, but I disclose all that. Like when I do have a code, and I had a comment recently where somebody was like, oh, you're probably just gonna give a discount code and you're trying to hype this up and stuff. And it's like, why is a discount code like, of course, if I have a discount code, I'm gonna share it with y'all. And again, it's the same point of if you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it, right? If you want to go buy from elsewhere, and I say this in my videos, I'm like, if you want to buy from somewhere else, go do that, right? Like if you want to try that and it has no connection to me, but at the end of the day, if you want to support my channel and I disclose that I do receive a slight bit of commission with this if you use it, but buy where you're comfortable, go buy where you're comfortable, and try it for free if you have like a Nordstrom or something near you. But yeah, I think that me speaking my truth has gotten me this far in my fragrance journey, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So I'm gonna keep doing me. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Do I have a fave LV fragrance? I did like Afternoon Swim before. Been thinking about getting Tabak Rose. Ooh, let me know. Let me know if you like that one. Right. Love Your Don't Buy This very short series. Really innovative concept. I gotcha. I gotcha. Sometimes you gotta. And you know what's funny? If you look at that video, if you hear screaming, it's not your kid. It's the neighbors. Um, if you see that video in the comments, there are people that just don't pick up on the sarcasm, and they're like, "Don't you ever tell me what not to buy?" Like, "Oh, I know what you're trying to do," or they get really upset. They're like, "I actually love that scent. How dare you mislead?" And I'm just like, "Y'all, do you have a sense of humor? Are you like a fucking robot? Like, are you kidding me right?" It's like, because I thought it was obvious because I was doing this. I was giving the side eye, making it very obvious. And also you can read the comment section. You can tell it's a joke, but it's all good. It's people are just different. I love your honesty and transparency. I really do appreciate that. And I have to remember at the end of the day, like when I see like a really like a horrible comment about me, I'm like, you know what? That's one person. I just gotta like put that to the side because there's like people like y'all that are just like, you have a mind of your own. And you're like, that everything is in your control. And like y'all are like the cool people here. So I really appreciate the love. What's VUI versus DHI? I know Dior Homme Intense. I don't like Dior Homme Intense, but what's that one? People like that miss everything. Yeah, yeah, no, it's super interesting. But you know what? It's all good. It's all good. There's a lot of that on YouTube, surprisingly. Oh, I don't like Valentino Homme Intense. Both of those are just not my cup of tea. I much rather prefer Dior Homme 2020. Easily. Easily. Can you suggest some fragrances to gift to my dad? I gifted my dad Percival, and this guy's been rocking that. He smells. He's the reason I changed my opinion on Percival. I kept smelling it on him, and I'm like, "Yo, you smell great, man." Him and my mom would go to parties, and people were like, "Yeah, dude, you smell so good." And he's just like, "I love this," and even him, like he's going to work, he smells great. I'm like, "Dude, I love that." Are you planning on trying M Wash King Blue? I'm down, but I have not liked a single M Wash fragrance yet. So, happy people generally don't leave nasty comments. It's a them issue, not you. Yeah, yeah. Like the thing is, I open the comment section for everybody and anybody that wants to give their 2 cents on stuff. And I'm still working through it. I do my best to not let anything like that face me. But I will tell y'all, it is hard when somebody, like, just imagine that, right? Like you're speaking your truth about something you're passionate about that you like, and somebody in there is just telling people, "Oh, she's getting paid out for this." And then there you got the people that are like, "Really? Oh my gosh, I can never trust her again." It's like, I'm not. Where's the check? You know what I mean? Like, damn. So it's just like, and you can't reply to every comment like that. And even when you say that you're not, it's like, people are just, they will find any negative with stuff. It's like, "Oh yeah, if you're not doing this, then why are you talking about them if they're not released yet?" And it's like, well, I talked about other fragrances that weren't released and I said I didn't like them, and where were you in the comment section? And then they're like, "Oh, well, nothing." So it's very selective. It's always on the videos where I'm very positive about stuff. And that's what makes me go like, "Damn, is it even worth it for me to like really enjoy sharing and liking fragrances with y'all, because like people are just going to think it's paid out." So that's why it's like, that's the thing that I miss about being a smaller creator, is that my happiness when I'd be sharing these things, like people, like there was no questioning the authenticity of it, right? But then as it's continued, people are like, "Oh, if she's too happy about it, it's being paid." And it's like, fuck, should I just talk about shit I hate? You know what I mean? Like but I'm not gonna listen to that stuff. What fragrance notes automatically get you interested? I don't care for notes. I do not go based off notes at all. Agree on 2020. Oh hell yeah. It's great. Condo, wow, I have not tried that. Or Bianca. No, no. In fact, I really want to try. I've been on like before July, I was like, I want to try more designer fragrances, and I still do. Like I love recommending and talking about designer scents because it's funny. Like I'll be talking about, I'll be making my videos, and whenever I would talk about a niche fragrance, people don't care to look at it, right? And then I'll get comments on a newer video saying, "Why don't you ever talk about niche fragrances?" It's like, yeah, but y'all don't watch, y'all don't watch unboxing videos of like a fragrance house you never heard of, you know? So it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Azaro fragrances are really, I don't care for them. Okay. Um of course that's what I'm saying. That's literally what I'm saying. Your vids on Louis de L'Homme is the recommendation, the EDT. It's the EDT. The EDT concentration. All right, we got a couple minutes left, y'all. If you have any questions, any comments. Does anybody know what time it is in the West Coast right now? On the West Coast, because this thing does not do time, which kind of sucks. It only shows how many minutes I've been on live. Yeah, you're welcome. Any suggestion on a perfume I should buy today? I am a sucker for Versace Bright Crystal. I really am. Like, it's one of those scents that to the feminine nose you might not care for, but when you wear it on anybody attracted to like a feminine presenting person, it's like, you smell great. Okay, 11. Thanks, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're gonna be huge. Oh, you can't let the weirdos get you down. I appreciate you. You know what? There's if you don't have any haters, you're not growing. That's what they always say, and it's true. If nobody is against you, then you're not really growing. So it's bound to be there. Um, how about the Levo? Haven't tried that. I have not tried that. And you know what? This has been a comment a lot lately with Elysium, is that people are like, "Oh, it's a Sauvage clone." What are y'all talking? What? I was like, "What?" I said, "If Elysium is a clone of Sauvage, I would have loved Sauvage." But it's like I don't know where. I feel like people throw that word around a lot, like clone. They're like, "Oh, this is a clone," or "This is a dupe." I'm like, how could like it and they're fragrances that don't make sense, right? It's like Silver Mountain Water and Blue de Chanel. It's clone. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Do you even know what clone means at this point? Um, I already did the dad suggestion one. Why do you never talk about Strong with You? I have. I've made videos on it. Product Paradox. Have not tried. Okay. Couple more minutes. Cloning capitalism. Yeah, dude. I really like, and that's what gets me. They're like people are like, that's how I know you're fake is because you don't mention that Elysium's a clone of Sauvage. I'm like, that's not. It's not. It's like maybe you know what. And the thing is, I'll give it to you if it's a skin chemistry thing because that's always a factor, right? If they smell so similar on your skin, I can't stop that. That's your truth. But to like say that and have everybody think that, or to have I'm just like, what? It's crazy. Are you and your girl going back to NYC for Scent Explorer in December? I would love to go to Scent Explorer, but I am single, so been having fun, enjoying the ride. Listen, how you doing? I'm doing great. How are you? Man, I miss talking to you guys on lives. Lives fucking rock. I'm gonna be going live more often on YouTube. I was thinking about posting a video, but I'm like, I want to talk with them. I want to like see how everybody's doing because it's always like so fun seeing like familiar faces. And maybe it works better at nighttime. Maybe I'll like run this back at nighttime like I used to, like throwback. I don't know if we might have some newbies, but yeah, I used to have some late night lives that get pretty crazy. Okay, you're welcome. You're very welcome. I left a comment on one of your videos about avoiding lavender if you have thyroid issues. My daughter. Oh wow, just one of my favorite phrases. I don't think I've been using. That's it. I don't know. I appreciate that though. The fact that you even remembered the thyroid about me, I just that's very sweet. Sidebar, I like the vids on gold as well. Oh, let's thank you. Sent to my son who's a young police officer building his collection. I love that. I honestly, whenever I mean, I love fragrances, right? But whenever anybody has questions about like gold or jewelry, I geek out. Like I'm just like, let's talk about it because I don't have people near me like they like their jewelry and stuff, but they don't really know like as much about it, and they don't really they like my pieces and they compliment it, but I always love when people are like, "Oh, Melissa, I got like the flat curve, 18 karat. What do you think about this setup?" And I'm in there like, "Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah," just it's great. It's great. So if you rock chains, shout out. If you rock bracelets, shout out, even though I'm holding the chain. But this is, you know what? I haven't worn this one in a minute, but I'm like, I like that it's just easy to throw on. Like, I mean, I don't take it off my neck, but it's not like a pendant where I have to like tuck it into my shirt when I'm changing, like a lot of love, a lot of love. Can't find an interview of Stronger with You on your channel. It's definitely there. If not, you might want to check my TikTok. But overall, I'll just tell you right now, it's a great fragrance. Stronger with You is a nice, sweet scent. If something like By the Fireplace is too sweet for you, a bit too intense, and you want a more dialed back, like designerish, sexy version, then go with Stronger with You. It's good. Any advice on someone trying to start creating content on fragrances? Oh my gosh, I love questions like this too. Just straight up do it. Um, Honestly, that's the best thing that you could do is not be too much of a thinker and just to start posting. Because for myself, when I first started, I had one or two fragrances and I would just try to find creative ways to talk about those. You know what I mean? So you don't have to buy all of the fancy schmancy stuff like the big ring lights and all the lights, all of those sort of things. And you don't stress yourself out with the editing part of it. If you could tell with my videos, I don't edit my videos. You guys see my mess ups. And in some ways, like I've had people in person ask me, like, so are you gonna like learn how to edit? And maybe in the future I will. But I don't know. I kind of like the fact that um, I kind of there's something about it where I'm like, I want to be a growing channel that doesn't need to have these edits done or have to like cut things and put music and do all of that. I want my audience to see me organically. I want them to see my reactions. I want them to see when I'm stuttering because that's just a normal human being thing to do. So please don't worry about being perfect. Just post your videos, post your opinions, and if you're getting any negative feedback, I mean, don't listen really too much to it. If you know that what you're talking about is something you enjoy, or if you're talking about your dislike for something, rock with it. The people will find you. Like all you have to do is make sure that you're continuously posting. Because for me, like it's rough. It definitely is rough in the beginning, but you just got to keep doing it. Just keep doing it. It's good catching you going live. It's good. I know it's really good talking to you guys. And I have not tried Bulgari yet, but I do plan to go on more lives. And if you guys have any questions for me, like any at all, I do my best to reply to people on Instagram. But I also just created a Threads account. So if you have Threads, just hit me up on Threads because like I don't have much of a following on Threads, so I can answer any question that you have. Literally, Threads Melissa Nacional, same username as this. You will find me. Ask me anything seriously. And honestly, I love Threads because I can just post whatever I'm thinking on there. But I hope you all have a great day. Okay, take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.